Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Vanessa and you are watching the Exploring Oracle, or the Exploracle for short. So if this is your first time on my channel, what we usually do is showcase a deck. I show you all of the cards, I talk about the card stock, I show you how it shuffles, and at the end, we pick a card to read and I read from the guidebook, just so you would also have an idea. I have timestamps on all of these sections down at the description box below, so if you just want to jump into whatever you're interested in, feel free to do so. So today we will be taking a look at the Symbolic Soul Tarot by Eliza Setzinger. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is a Los Carabeo deck. It comes in this two-part box that opens up from the top, which is, I would say it's a little bit more premium than the usual Los Carabeo decks that come in a tuck box. So this is what the box, inside of the box, looks like. Really interesting details. This type of packaging is fine, but I wouldn't recommend getting this from the shelf, holding it at the top, because this does have a tendency to loosen up over time. Okay, so before we look at the cards, let's take a look at the guidebook. It is written by Barbara Moore with a foreword by Jonathan Batsy. As with all Los Carabeo decks, you have it in multiple languages. And basically, you have a foreword, an introduction, how to use the cards, discovering the secrets of life, discovering the secrets of your soul, some spreads, information about the cards, and then you go into the meanings of each. So for the major arcana, you do have a couple of sentences, a paragraph to describe what is in, or what is the meaning of that particular card. And yeah, it looks like there's also a short paragraph for each of the suits and an introduction to the suit. Like this, the wands, show us what drive us. So that's a good introduction. I like books written by Barbara Moore. It is quite beginner friendly, and for those that are still studying. So if you are an English speaker like me, you have until page 42 of the guidebook for the English section. So let's put that to the side and let's just take a look at the cardstock. So you have two title cards. So the Symbolic Soul Tarot and then a Los Carabeo title card. These are the backs. They are reversible. It is a matte cardstock with some gold foil detail at the card. Really pretty. It is not edged, but it's up, you can decide whether you want to still edge this deck or not. Cardstock is pretty good. It snaps back really well. It's not too thick, not too thin. I actually really like this particular cardstock. Alright, so I zoomed in a little bit more so that we can take a closer look at the cards. So it is borderless, and there is a gold foil on the details of the cards. I really was drawn to this art style. It's definitely the only one in my collection that looks like this. And there's something about it that draws me in, because it's like these creatures, they're human, or at least close to human, but feels different. So almost otherworldly for some reason. And it's very interesting, and I don't know, it just draws me in. Now, I believe this might have also been an indie deck before it was picked up by Los Carabeo. And I really like it when publishers do that, because it becomes a lot more accessible to more people. And I like that the details, with the gold foiling, I don't know if it's showing up as much. It's not too in your face. So there's a subtlety to it that I really like. So it's not overly blinding, but Really, a really good detail. My camera is not focusing too well. And as always, feel free to slow down, speed up, or pause if you want to take a closer look at the cards. Let's move on to the wands. It is a limited color palette. It's really just black, well, kind of an ivory or off-white, and then the gold. But it's quite stunning when it's laid out, and I'll show you later. Initially, when I got this, I was drawn to the art, but when I was reading, or when I was initially flipping through this deck, I wasn't too sure if I made the right decision to get it. But then I started reading with it and laying it out, and it's a really good reader for me. So I really like how it looks when it's laid out. It feels like it's having a conversation with me that most other decks don't do. Apologies if you're hearing sirens. I have my window open at the moment, so I'm not sure how much of the background noise is being picked up. And yeah. The imagery is very much inspired by the RWS. So if you can, or if you are familiar with the RWS imagery, I don't see any issues with just using or picking up this deck because it is very much inspired by it. And the guidebook, as you saw, it's decent enough. It's a lot better than most other Los Scarabeo little white books. So I think it would, if you're drawn to this, I think it would be a good deck to use even if you're just starting with tarot. This is so interesting. And then we have our king. And lastly, the pentacle suit. And the key. Alright, so I zoomed out just to show you how this deck shuffles. I have no issues before shuffling this deck. It is a little bit thick. It feels a little bit thicker than your usual tarot deck, but I can still manage to riffle shuffle it with not a lot of issues. It has a good mix. The cards don't stick to each other. And overhand, oops, it's also pretty easy, no issues. And I can get jumpers from this, so let's do that again. And let's see if we can get a card to read so that we can just see how the guidebook reads. Let me do this. Oops. We'll read for this one. Oh, it's the Ten of Cups. It's also quite interesting how they draw, or how the art is shown. You know, I didn't mention it a lot, but it does have these like mask type things all scattered all throughout. Like here, it's basically just one person with two heads with a face on her back, and there's a lot of things that you can make out of that, and I like how that is presented. Okay, so for the Ten of Cups, it says in the guidebook, domestic bliss, sanctuary, family. So those are the keywords, and it says, besides the drive to procreate, the desire to be loved might be the next strongest force. Almost all creatures want to be loved, to love, and to share a future together. Love is a force, like a gravitational pull, drawing us towards others of a like heart. Hopefully, everyone can love who they want and build a life pleasing to them, kind to others, and healthy for the planet. So it's not really like a divinatory message. It's not entirely prescriptive, or it doesn't work like an oracle deck. But I don't know, there's something about this deck that just speaks to me. Oh, let me just show you. And like I said, when it's laid out like that, if you just look at how the cards are laid out, the interactions between them, it speaks to me. I don't know how better to explain that, or how to explain that better, but there's something about it when it's all laid out. When I have like 3 cards, I usually read with 3 cards, that makes sense. And like how these two cards would be facing each other, that to me it tells a story. How the Hangman would be in the middle of the Knight of Cups and the Hermit tells a story. And I guess the art on this deck really just facilitates that for me, which is great, because that's something that I've been trying to work on, or to develop with myself, is how do I really read cards without being so dependent on the guidebook. And I think this is one of the few decks that make that easy. Just look at that. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, I just wanted to show you basically how it looks like when it's all together. Okay, so anyway, that has been the flip through of the Symbolic Soul Tarot by Los Caribeo. I got this from Amazon. Also, I got this from Llewellyn, but it's also available on Amazon. So wherever you probably you will be able to get it wherever you get your tarot cards. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to click on the like button, and do consider subscribing to my channel. I post videos like this at least once a week. See you again next time. Bye!